YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, back on Total War Warhammer. I wanted to test a couple of things. Balthasar Gelt and the Lore of Metal both kind of got a buff. Balthasar got some special campaign mechanics that we'll look at on another day maybe. But right now I wanted to show you that some of the spells got patched. I've heard that Searing Doom does more damage, and I've seen that Final Transmutation does more damage. Now it says you put it on the ground, it affects all enemies in range. It says it's strong versus a character, causes severe damage to combatants. Let's just test it out real quick. So just to get an example, let's maybe throw some Eternal Guard, and let's just put in just like a standard Lord here. We won't give him any of the abilities or any other nonsense like that, just to make this a little bit more normal. And let's just see what kind of damage that Balthasar can do to them. He's also got a Warhorse and a Barded Warhorse instead of just the, Quicksilver, so that's a special mount. The swiftest of mounts. That's kind of cool. Very fast. It gives him 105 speed. That's pretty neat. I hadn't noticed that before. Anyway, let's give him the Warhorse. Actually, let's give him just the standard Warhorse because it's faster. And we'll go about it that. Actually, let's put him on the Quicksilver, and then I'll just stick one unit of spears on the ground and hide him in the back. The AI is set up as the attackers. This map will work just fine. Let's just test the spell out, and then I have a replay for you to watch. But I just wanted to show you this real quick. Lore of Metal is not nearly as crappy as it once was, and I've actually seen people using it. I've even seen people using it in tournaments, which means that unless someone figures out something to the opposite, that this may actually be viable now. I'm not sure that Balthasar is exactly the way that I'd like to see him, but let's just see. Maybe he is considerably better. He did pick up a buff to his armor, which was nice. He's only at 50 though. I would have liked to have seen him go to at least 70. But, you know, whatever. I'll take what I can get here. I'll be happy for it. We'll test Searing Doom in a slightly different way next. Let's just work on this. It takes Final Transmutation to overcast. It's going to take quite a lot. Idiots shooting at Balthasar back here. Have fun shooting, ugly. I forgot that he's got a bow too, so it's going to be annoying. Alright, are we good to overcast this crap yet? Let's make sure that his spearmen are over here too, because I want to see the effects that it has on just standard infantry and the effects that it has on a lord. I want to see both. So let's pull his infantry back over here. We're going to take a bunch of hits on the waiting on him. Oh well. That extra armor is going to pay off, Balthasar. I can feel it. Okay, here we go. Overcast takes 26 mana. Woo! That is a lot, but let's see if it's worth it. So Final Transmutation. What does it do to different characters? So this guy's actually taking a pretty fair bit of damage. And that's not bad damage being done to these guys either. Holy mackerel. That was no joke. If you forced a blob up, that would punish an enemy blob up something fierce. Look at that. Wow. Alright, so Final Transmutation no longer sucks. Wow. That actually did tremendous damage. It killed a huge number of the actual spearmen and took over half the health off the Lord. Good grief, I mean, it took almost all of our mana, but this special ability for Balthasar is going to let him replenish mana pretty quickly. That's pretty interesting. So Balthasar now may have the ability to really punish infantry blobbing, or just unit blobbing in general. So that gives him some interesting ability there. There could be certain factions that he would be pretty relevant against, actually. Let's see what Searing Doom does. AI might try and avoid it. Yeah, we're going to have to do a different one. Let's concede defeat, and let's do rematch real quick, and I'll just use my spears to hold the enemy in place, and let's see what Searing Doom does, because it was said to have done more in the patch notes. I am just actually straight up impressed with what that Final Transmutation does. That is pretty serious. Yeah, that Final Transmutation is a pretty serious spell. Okay, let's fast forward, see if we can get the Wood Elves up here. We'll fix them with our spears, and then we'll unleash some Searing Doom. I am still actually kind of flabbergasted by how much damage that final transmutation did, like to the point where I almost wonder if it's too strong. I mean, killing over half the Lord seems maybe a little bit powerful, but it does take a lot of mana, but still, killing the Lord halfway. Maybe a bit of a nerf to the single character damage, but I mean, I like the fact that it can be used for blob busting. It's a good, like, Balthasar, you sacrifice any melee capability basically, and to have the ability to go blob busting like that would actually be pretty critical. Gives him something that he's good at. Okay, we're gonna attack with the spears. Where the heck are they running from? It's the AI for you. Let's just see what happens. So here comes Searing Doom. Okay, no damage to start with. Let's watch the actual impacts here. Looks cool. It did decent damage. I can't say I'm thoroughly impressed, but it did some damage. I wonder what a single transmutation does against the character there. Let's find out. Like a non-overcast version. It starts at 2669. Let's see what happens. Try another Searing Doom here. Maybe a more focused one without the larger strike area, and let's see if it does any good. Because it doesn't cost much mana. Ah, that actually did some pretty solid damage there, that more focused one. That, yeah, it did some damage. And that was actually not bad. I mean, it was 15 mana. It did, I mean, the Overcast one's obviously better. It did about half as much damage because the duration is half. So that's interesting indeed. With Arcane Conduit and this other ability, you can really suck up the winds of magic with Balthasar. Let's just see what all we can do with them here. We're almost up to enough mana to cast this one again when it comes back through. I mean, that's quite a bit of damage coming in from that Searing Doom. It's not bad at all. Let's see, we should get another final transmutation. I mean, this is a lot of magic that he can do too. 2 final transmutations, so that could be doing in a real battle damage against blobs, not just a Lord. And then the Searing Doom is also good against the infantry blobs. Balthasar may be pretty good at infantry blob, anti-infantry blob. Yeah, I mean, look at that. 2 spell casting. That's a pretty decent amount of damage. Let's just have a little fun. Check that out. Balthasar just won something, people. I know, it's hard to believe. Let's see if he can actually beat these infantry as well. Nope. He's not that good. Anyway, there we go. So actually, I intended for this to be a online battle, but there you go. Maybe it's just a quick look at Balthasar. Another spell that's really powerful, let's go take a look at it real quick, is the Dwellers Below. And if we go to, actually, Bretonia will give us a good chance to show this. So Bretonia, let's bring a Prophetess Lore of Life. So the Dwellers Below is an area of effect damage spell that was barely used because it was really crappy previously, but now is extremely good. And we'll give you a demonstration. If you get some cheap units, so let's say that, for instance, you have a couple of cheap men-at-arms with shields, and then we'll just throw a Grail Relique here. Where is the Relique? And then let's put our Prophetess up in the sky so she's safe. And yeah, I don't think we need any scrolls or anything else like that. That'll work just like this. So, and then if we give the Wood Elves, let's give them some varied units here. Let's even throw in a couple of Treekin, just to see what it does to units that are not as large. So let's just do a quick demonstration here. So Dwellers Below is very, very powerful now. It can be dodged relatively easy because I don't think it can be targeted on a unit, which means that if you see the spell incoming and you know that your opponent has it, like you've done the appropriate scouting, you can dodge it. Final Transmutation, I don't think you would be so lucky. I don't know that there's any easy way to dodge Final Transmutation. Okay, Okay, let's move up on the Pegasus. We just want the enemy to come up and engage all their units on our spearmen. And I want to show you how, like, so for instance, the money spend over here for the elves is considerably more. So I've seen some people even using their lord to bait this kind of thing online, where basically you set up a bait ball and you bait people in to use the dwellers below. So we'll just let this play out, and I'll show you kind of what I'm thinking. Let's get the guys all blobbed in. Yep, so there we go. So see, we put dwellers below right here, and you're going to end up sacrificing your own units. There's no two ways around it. You will sacrifice your own units. It takes a lot of mana to cast it, but the damage is absolutely absurd. See my own spearmen dying very, very quickly? You will kill your own units doing this. But look at the damage it does to the treekin and the spearmen. So you have to think about this in battle, like if your opponent's blobbing against you, do you have a good sacrifice set up? So you see the damage that I was able to do there to the elves? It was absolutely insane. Absolutely insane damage. Basically killed those guys. So what do you all think? What do you think of these spells? I mean, I've heard a lot of people claiming that they're OP now or whatever it is. Dwellers Below is very, very strong. I'm kind of okay with it the way it is because it makes you pay attention. It punishes blobbing. So like stuff like heal blobbing would get absolutely punished by this kind of thing. Huge punishment. Of course, healing got nerfed a little bit, but this would be a huge punishment to heal blobbing. And I'm kind of okay with this one. The area of effect is relatively small. It's dodgeable, kind of like Wind of Death is dodgeable. I'm a little bit on the fence with that final transmutation. That overcast version, it does take a ton of magic. It's like 26 magic. How much did that one take, by the way? I forgot to check real quick. Let's take a look at the Lore of Life and the Dwellers Below. So it takes 20. That's not a lot for what it does, but this one's more dodgeable as well. So I don't know. Tell me what you all think. I definitely don't think that the Awakening of the Wood is too OP because it's more dodgeable and stuff. A little more risk reward. Final Transmutation seems a little bit easier to use. Just kind of curious what you all think, and it does massive damage. So should they keep it? Should they nerf it some? Just kind of curious for y'all's thoughts. Anyway, appreciate MSI sponsoring the channel. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you all next time.